Hey y'all, it's Ms. Zari on the Raw Perspective. Here I have today Major Life Fitness. Hey Major.
How you doing? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, brother. So I have him here today because I wanted everyone to get to know him and get to know different things about him. We're gonna start from top to bottom. So with that being said, my first question for you today is where are you from in DC?
Okay, my mother, right? She was born and raised in Oxon Hill, Maryland. Glass Manor area, they call it 1001 or whatever. My father is originally from Trinidad. So they had to take me to, she said they had to take me to Southern Maryland Hospital. I think she had a C-section, I don't know, but they had to take me to Southern Maryland Hospital. I know my mother was living with my grandmother for a little minute in the Oxon Hill area. And she ended up moving to southwest side up Oak Park, Ball Eagle, up that area. And I was kind of back and forth from my mother to the Trinidad side, from my mother to the Trinidad side. My aunt was living uptown, so that was my third spot I was going to. So It was a 3-way, 4-way thing. Yeah.
Okay, so your parents weren't together?
Nah, they wasn't together.
They weren't together.
They weren't together for long.
Did that affect you in some type of way with them not being together? Did you want a whole household with two parents, or were you okay with how life was for you? You didn't even notice it?
To be honest, I didn't even realize what was going on. My father wasn't around like that. So I had my grandfather and my uncle, which is my mother brother and my mother father. They was more so around. They was more so my father figure.
Right.
As I was growing up, my grandfather showed me numerous of things, how to work with my hands, cut grass, build decks, change car brakes, change oil, and my uncle did the same thing. Like I said, I didn't realize it. I didn't realize what was going on.
It's good that you didn't feel like you was missing nothing. So because you didn't feel like you weren't missing anything, you don't feel like that affected you as you became a teenager?
Nah. I don't feel like it affected me because, like I said, I had male figures around. As I was growing up, being a teenager, they was trying to show me the way. I was just kind of hard-headed.
Hard-headed.
Yeah, I was kind of hard-headed.
So when did you start getting into trouble? Because everyone knows on social media you went to prison, but as I said, we're starting from the beginning. So with that being said, when did you start getting in trouble? When was it the little petty little kid things you would do that led to maybe the big things?
Boom, okay. They started, they always doing they always doing gentrification. So my mother was living up southwest, up Oak Park, Ball Eagle, and all that. So, I was young up there, so I'm going outside. So, being as I'm going outside, I'm still in cars, smoking weed, doing the norm. When rent went up, she man, I might as well move out Maryland. So she moved out Maryland, back up there years later, up Glass Manor. And, we was living up there for a while. I'm a normal kid playing the video games. I never played sports video games. That wasn't my thing. My little brother, Jarrell, which is a firefighter now, one of my little brothers, he was into the sports thing. Yeah. I was into Scarface, Grand Theft Auto. I don't know how it came to that.
It was just more interesting.
Yeah, at that time. So, that's what I was into. I was probably 11, 12. I was getting into trouble, and my mother, she just couldn't, take it for real. I'm going outside, not listening with time curfew to come back in the house. Sometimes don't come in the house. And I started to catch little petty charges, stealing, shoplifting, candies and stuff like that. I was young. So she said, man, I can't take it no more. You going up there with your grandma and grandfather. My grandma and grandfather lived right up the street for real, for real.
Were they stricter or did you kind of still do the same thing to them that you did to your mom?
They wasn't strict. They was grandma and grandpa. You know what I'm saying? They ain't really... They all right, send them up here with us. We got them. So, I moved up there, and when I got up there, I was just on bullshit for real, because, I kind of took kindness for weakness, leaving out the house late, opening the window, leaving out the house, going through my grandma and grandfather stuff, I was like 12. My grandfather had, guns under his bed. That's how I found, my first gun was, my first gun was a Llama 380, and I took my first gun from my grandfather. I was about 11, 12 around that time.
How did your grandfather feel about that?
He didn't even know around that time.
He didn't?
He didn't know.
What about later? Did he find out?
Well, somehow, some way, I ended up going back down my mother's house because they was like, man, because I was still in their cars too. My grandfather had a ring of keys. He had an S500 Mercedes Benz, and I'm still in the cars and stuff. They sleep, they go to work. I'm still in their cars and stuff like that, and they was like, man, he gotta go. He gotta go. So I went back down there, got into some things on the streets. My mother ended up searching my room, found my gun case and the bullets because she found the case and the bullets. She ain't found the gun, but she found the case and the bullets. And she called up there and was like, you know what I found? He looked and it's like, yeah, one of my guns missing. And I got in trouble. They like, where it was at? And I'm like, man, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But around that time I needed it because I was already into things. You understand what I'm saying? So, to fast forward a little bit, 14, 15, it was like a pattern. I get locked up, I run away, don't come back for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. They'll put a police report out on me. I'm missing. My grandfather might drive up the street. Like, I know where he at. He around the corner. He might be lurking me. I see him. I might get to running. You know what I'm saying?
So what was around the corner? A friend's house or?
The neighborhood.
Okay.
It was a lot of friends I ended up meeting too. You know what I'm saying? But the neighborhood, and he'll see me out run. People like, my grandfather looking for you. And I'm like, man, I ain't seeing him. You know what I'm saying? So, that was that on that note. And, 14, 15, 16, I'm in high school. My first high school I went to, I got accepted to Oxon Hill High School. I was in there for a month.
Just a month?
I was in there for a month.
What you do?
I got into it with a Spanish dude. Me and my friend, we put the boots on him. He ended up getting, my Nike boots. He ended up getting a gash on his face from my Nike boots. And they suspended me. They expelled me from the school for a whole year. So my 9th grade year, I wasn't in school the whole year. So that's when I really turned up. I was outside just with, I was robbing and doing stuff in my grandfather S500 Benz. My mother ended up seeing me one day in it, and she was shocked how old I was driving it. You know what I'm saying? And she called me one day and was like, she called my grandfather, and by the time I already whipped it and got back to the house and parked it how it was supposed to be parked, and he called the phone. You ain't driving my car? I'm like, no, I ain't driving your car. And that was that. To this day, my mother be saying like, dang, I ain't even know you were driving this car. I ain't know you know how to drive. You was too young. But she ain't know I was already stealing cars and we was already doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. So is there a reason why you went down this path, or maybe was it the influences around you at the time that made you think or made you feel, or even maybe your family made you feel, okay, I'm gonna do this. I don't care what no one says. I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna do that.
It's crazy because my aunt, around that time, my aunt thought I was a father, but she didn't know I was really a leader. You know what I'm saying? I always been a leader. I always had leadership qualities. I just ain't cared for real. You know what I'm saying? And I was light-skinned growing up. So, I'd be tried and tested, but I made sure that won't happen again. You understand what I'm saying? And once I started doing what I was doing, it was like the respect level. And they like, dang, a little badass little boy on the corner over there. He's stealing his grandfather's car. He be having guns and stuff. So it was like, oh, we ain't messing with him.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, people used to try to say, man, stop, man. But I wouldn't listen. To this day, my best friend of mine, he'd say, man, if you just would have listened back then, I used to try to, but I didn't even want to listen to him.
Yeah.
It was just what I say go for real. And I just do what I do and then think about it later on.
That's understandable. So, when was your biggest charge, or your biggest charge came when you were adult, or when did your biggest charge come?
My biggest charge when I came when I was adult, I was getting locked up every year for real.
What was it for?
Every year I got locked up?
No, not every year. I'm talking about your big charge that led to your incarceration.
My biggest charge, I had an 18-count indictment: felony murder, armed burglary, kidnapping, assault with a deadly weapon, possession of a firearm, doing a crime of violence. It went down. You know what I'm saying?
How many years did they give you for that?
They gave me 15 years, which is 180 months.
Okay.
And
that's what you just got out of?
Yeah, I just got out of that. I did 12 and a half off the 15. I came home off compassion release. And, that was alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So with that being said, now we're going to talk about that 15, well, not the 15 years, the 12 years.
Right.
So in those 12 years, let's talk about your first day at the prison. We don't got to say the prison, but your first day at the prison, you walking in, what was the scenery? Who did you see? Like, how did you feel? Like, how did even the court hearing go? Like, once you heard your time, how did you feel? Then when you walked in on your first day, how did you feel? What did you see?
When I was on the run for a little minute because they said they was looking for a second suspect, which was me. Mm-hmm. My co-defendant died, and it was a thing about, you know, it was a big miscommunication about him dying, and I had something to do with him dying and Iraq and stuff like that. I don't want to get deep into it, but
you don't have to.
Yeah, you know, it was looking for me. They ended up finding me, but it was crazy because I felt like I was being watched. Certain streets was blocked off. Certain streets didn't have no traffic, and I was like, I'd be looking down the streets like, dang, like these streets so quiet. This street don't never be quiet. So I already knew what it was, and they end up getting me at my friend's house one day. And from there, they took me down First to M Street, questioned me. I ain't had nothing to say about nothing. I went to jail. Fast forward, when I went to jail, you had a lot of men that I grew up with throughout the city that was reading the paper, and it was like surprised, like, dang, man, how you get up in here? And I'm like, man, I crashed out, man. I was sitting over at DC jail, 1901 D Street for 2 years fighting trial. You understand what I'm saying? It was a lot of miscommunication with the case and the record stuff going on. I'm like, man, I ain't copping to none of that stuff, because what y'all saying happen ain't happen. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I had felony murder, all types of stuff going on. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna sit and ride it out. Mm-hmm. In between time, I was meeting a lot of good men, you know, and I was just sitting, you know, I'm like a sponge, you know, I'm aware and conscious of my surroundings, and I always been like that. I'm like this, so I'm starting to see certain things, and I'm just taking on, because I ain't really did no time for real. I always get locked up, bonded out, come home, do it again, bond out, come home. Mm-hmm. So I see people working out, I see people, you know, praying. I took my Shahada 2008, but once I got to jail, I took it more seriously, you know what I'm saying? And you know, I was praying every day, and, you know, meeting good men, and some of the men teaching me certain things about life and giving me books and stuff like that. And I'm just looking around, I'm like, dang, I'm in this jump. And it's over DCJ. I'm like, dang, I'm in here, man. But a lot of people took on to me because they already knew me, some didn't, and they like, man, you're gonna be good, man. You're gonna be all right. And I knew I was gonna be all right. Just who the person I was, I knew I was gonna be all right.
Right.
And you know, I'm going through these hearings, and a lot of them hearings be BS for real, for real. You get up, go, they the saddest hearing, they want to see you, and then they don't really have nothing to say. They set the next court date. Right. So that was going on for months, to a year came past, you know. Now I'm in there for a year, and then months. Now they throwing cops on the table. To fast forward, man, I ended up taking a cop to, they knocked everything out. They said, man, here, plead to this. They ended up, I ended up pleading to burglary while armed, aggravated assault while armed, and carrying a pistol without a felon on a private. Carrying a pistol, being a felon without a license. You know what I'm saying? I ended up copping to that, which was 180 months. I think the armed burglary was like 138. The gun charge was like 24, and the other one was something else. I forgot off the hand, but
which got you the 15, but you did 12.
Yeah, I did. Yep, got me the 15, but I did 12.
Once all that was settled, when you walked into the prison that you were sent to after that, what was everyone like? Or it wasn't the same like DC jail, or
when I got
what happened?
When I got sentenced, right? I got sentenced. So when I got sentenced, I got that time. I was ready to go. I kept hearing about the feds. They're like, the feds, man, the feds gonna be good. Do your time, bit by boom, bam, feds. So I was already ready to go. Once they called my name, it was like, all right, bet I'm ready to get this time over with. I went through transit. We went out Northern Neck Regional Jail. That's out Virginia. Went there, you know, sat there for a little minute. This is just how the whole process go. Went to Northern Neck Regional Jail. They ended up sending me out Oklahoma, which is also a transfer spot, holdover as well. Oh, wow. And then I went from Oklahoma to Carolina, from Carolina all the way to West Virginia, which was Beckley was my first spot. That's how they do. They see you here, there, boom, and you already going there. So I went there. When I got on the plane, it was just like it looked like just a big college to me, for real. Oh, wow. And I'm looking around, I'm like, damn. I'm about to do this jump. That's how it was. You know what I'm saying? I'm being honest with it. I'm like, I'm about to do this jump right here. It's all right. Because I was cool, though, for real. Still had good friends. I know I got a good family. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right. So I got on the Brave unit. The Brave unit was for young dudes that, had high-profile cases and charges, and we're going to put you in the Brave unit program. So I ended up getting on the Brave unit. I started meeting some other little dudes, and then I started seeing people that I already knew from the street that already been there doing time. Mm-hmm. So they let me know, you on the Brave unit? I'm like, yeah, that'd be a good jump for you. Just watch out, man, because the youngins over there around your age, and they turned up just like you, and just chill.
Right.
So I seen it already, and I was like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? I like it anyway. You know what I'm saying? So we ended up 2-3 weeks. I ended up getting enrolled for the program, and we started doing icebreakers, and they started having meetings and different things for people who could come up at the podium and speak, right? So around that time, I'm like, man, I don't care about an icebreaker. I participate and I get up on the podium and speak. That's just, because that's just who I was.
An outgoing person.
Right. So I started doing that for a little minute, for a long time, and I started to connect with the counselors and stuff, and they saying, they like, man, you're gonna be all right. Keep doing this, keep coming to the groups, do your little workbooks and stuff like that.
Right.
You're gonna be all right. And that happened for like 3-4 months. I was probably on the pound 5, no longer than 6 months I was on the compound. I was getting out the shower one day, and I seen a altercation downstairs, and the homies, we got into it with the GD. So I flew downstairs, we got to working or whatever, and I think not one of the homies, but the other side, they went out and told the COs, they came in, lock it down, but we already went in ourselves and stuff like that. The next day, they had us on lockdown. They coming to get everybody, and I seen them look up at my cell, and I told my son, I'm like, man, they about to come get me, man.
Yeah.
I said, I know they about to come get me, because they looking too hard. They looking right at me. I'm like, man, pack my stuff up, man. Put my Ray-Bans up in there, man. Pack my stuff, man. Just make sure I get all my stuff. He made sure I got all my stuff. I ended up going to the hole. When I went to the hole, I didn't even go to the hole first. They always take you to the lieutenant office first before you go to the hole. Mm-hmm. So I went to the lieutenant office, and the lieutenant office, the lieutenant was in there, and he asked me what happened. I'm like, man, nothing, man. Ain't nothing happened. He like, man, I seen the altercation. You can tell. I'm like, I ain't telling you nothing. Ain't nothing happened. Telling you nothing happened. Right. We was talking about some sports thing. You know what I'm saying? He like, all right. So he showed me a picture of me. He like, man, I heard you a big influence on the young DCMAs. That's what he said. I think he was getting this from the counselors that was already in it, because they seen my movement. I was with the jail. I was like 23 at the time, 24. Mm-hmm. And they didn't like, I'm not gonna say they didn't like, but to see me come in that fast and already get acclimated with what was going on, it kind of like shocked them, because everybody don't do that at that age.
They definitely don't.
You understand what I'm saying? So when he said that, he said, I'm gonna have to send you to the hole. And I'm like, for what? You know what I'm saying? So I went to the hole. I ended up going to the hole. And I ended up being in the hole for a whole year.
Oh, wow.
I ended up being in the hole for a year. While I was in that hole, a lot of things transitioned while I was in that hole.
Mentally, right?
Mentally. I started reading urban novels. They was like movies. You know what I'm saying? So that sometimes when I wanted to be up at night, I read them. And I started meeting dudes on different tiers. And different people coming in, I'm seeing different brothers coming in with different books, and they saying, I got a book, we'll call down. Once we finish all them books, we'll call down and get different books from people, and that's what it was, man. I was reading in the hole, man. I started reading urban novels. I proud myself. I said, I'm ain't gonna read no more urban novels. I want this book. One of the first books I read in the hole was The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And that was a great book. And when I read that book, I said, oh yeah, I really ain't reading no more urban novels. I say from here on out, I'm reading all self-help books, financial literacy books, in the Quran.
As you should.
And that's what happened.
Okay, so we were just talking about the hole. So like, after that, when did you even get out of the hole?
I got out of the hole, it was like February. Mm-hmm. January, February, I forgot what year it was.
Cause that was your first year in.
Yeah.
So it was
like, matter of fact, it was like 14 going in 15. Yeah, 14, yeah. 15, okay. Yeah, about 15 going to 16, exactly.
So like, how was your mindset coming out the hole? Like, did your mindset change? Like, okay, I got into that situation, but like, who am I now? how the hole changed you?
I ain't think about that. I just knew when I left the hole, I said, man, I just gotta tighten up for real. I just gotta tighten up, and I was more concerned about where I was going at. That's all it was.
Right.
I was like, damn, where I'm going at, because you're supposed to be in a 500-mile radius, but sometimes when you get a disciplinary transfer, they send you all the way Wakanda somewhere. And I mean Wakanda all the way across the United States, because the feds is across the United States. They send you wherever you want to go. They got a federal system everywhere. So that's what I was more so concerned about, because I knew I was gonna get visits and family was gonna come see me. I'm like, dang, I already messed up already.
Right.
So they shipped me out, got back on the plane, Con Air. Second time I ever been on a plane in my life, shackled up, waist, hands, feet to the ground. We did the whole thing again, North Carolina, Oklahoma, the whole little thing. They ended up sending me to a spot called McKean, which was in Pennsylvania. Bradford, Pittsburgh was in Pennsylvania. I ended up going there. I got there, I did the same thing. I'm like, all right, this is the second spot. I'm like, all right, get it together. So when I got there, I seen some other people that I've met, and I met some people that I knew off the street, and then I started meeting, some other people. And I got on a unit, it was AB unit, and I met a homie from up on the southeast side. His name was Saquon Blakeney, which is Chaz, man, good brother. He seen me. One thing about him, he gonna make sure who is who. If you ain't right, you gone. He gonna get on that and make sure. So he ended up doing his research on me. Once he found out who I was, he made me a meal immediately.
Right.
He made me a fried rice bowl, some macaroni and cheese, and that was it right there. I was on the unit for a little minute. When they usually post up classes and all activities on the bulletin board at each unit on the compound. One day I seen some classes and stuff they had up there, and I enrolled in all the classes.
Okay, so let's talk about the classes. What were the classes like? What were they teaching you? Did you even really like it, or were you just doing it to keep yourself occupied?
I was doing it to keep myself occupied, but I ended up liking it because I wanted something greater. I wanted something better for myself. You know what I'm saying? And I started to feel myself grow. As the days went on, I started to feel myself grow. And these classes was self-help classes, stock classes, real estate classes, everything that I felt like I needed for this world. And it fell right in my hands. So as I started going to class, you had people watching me going to this class. They're like, who is this DC dude? And some of them started to introduce themselves. They said, man, I had a dude named N.O. He was from Pittsburgh. He like, man, you from DC? I'm like, yeah. He said, you ain't the average one, man. I like how you move. I like how you move. I said, why you say that? He said, you going to class. I don't see too many homies coming to class. I said, man, I'm trying to do something better, bro. Right. Because I had an attitude problem. And the biggest thing when I was in jail, I said, man, I didn't want to have an attitude problem and end up doing something to somebody and I don't come home. That was my biggest fear. Doing something to somebody and I won't make it home. So as I was taking these classes, a lot of people that was facilitating these classes is like, man, you like this stuff? If you like it, I'm gonna teach you more about it. Right. So I started to, get Robert Kiyosaki books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Miseducation of a Negro by Carter G. Woodson. All these different books is coming into my hand. I'm actually reading these books.
Those are all the greatest books.
And as I'm reading these books, I'm like, dang, this happening. Dang, why they hide this? And I'm like, dang, they didn't teach me this in school. So I started to like it. And they started to put me in more classes. Now, these other classes they was prerequisite classes leading up to being a life coach. So they was like, man, what you think about being a life coach? I never knew what it was. So they started to show me what was a life coach, what was a counselor, what was a therapist. It's all in the same family, but they're totally different. They totally, they different. They all, like I said, they all the same family, but they different. A life coach is one that helps a person understand his purpose in life. Right. I'm going to help you open doors, your short-term, mid-term, long-term goals. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what a life coach was.
That's one of your favorite things to say.
Yeah, because I understand, that's part of, when I sit and lay back, that's that's part of the fundamental aspects of life. Like, you have to set goals.
You do, indeed.
And when I used to say change your environment and change the people you around and all that, I used to be like, what? Man, I ain't got to do that. But while I was in jail, I understood it though. I'm like, dang, people you place yourself around, positive energy, negative, it was happening. We go outside in the yard, everybody telling war stories. Now we clashing. I'm like, you know what? And at the time when I'm like, I don't want to hear no war stories no more. Like, we keep coming outside hearing war stories for. So them classes that I was in, because I used to be front line. When I started taking them classes, I didn't know that me being frontline and taking them classes was really taking me out of harm's way for real. So like when the deuces get off and the homies go up, they'll be looking for me, but I'm in class though. And I get back to the unit and they be like, I'd be like, what happened? I'm like, such and such got into it and they thought you was outside. I'm like, dang, that's crazy.
It saved you.
It did. And I started taking them classes and taking them classes and I end up taking a test to be a life coach. Well, I had to take a test to be a facilitator first. See what they do is they let you facilitate classes first to see how you do. You know, and then I had to take a test, and I had to read all these different books and all these different judges and different life coaches was coming into the institution because at McKean, they was letting people come in. Like people from the University of Bradford, Pittsburgh, and they was letting people come in. So once I started taking them classes and passing them tests and doing the facilitator, and them dudes started pulling me out saying, you looking good from on this end. This your type stuff. I didn't know it. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead.
What was the first class that you facilitated?
The first
teach?
The first class I facilitated was a class called Get Smart. And all Get Smart was, like I said, learning how to set your short-term, mid-term, long-term goals. You know what I'm saying? And when I used to be looking at them classes before I was a facilitator, I used to be like, what? When I'm going to be in 5 years? When I'm going to be in 10 years? What you talking about? And I'm like, I ain't answering these questions. Like, take your time, read it, bro. And they started to pick my brain and ask me questions. And I started to fill out the worksheets and stuff like that. And I started to go back in my cell and read them. And I'm like, dang.
That's what that means.
Yep. So, I ended up taking a test, ended up being a certified life coach. We graduated and stuff like that. And I took every class on the compound. By then, my points went down, and they calling me. I was there like 3.5 years. And when they called me and said, man, you can leave. And I'm like, what? I can leave? Go where? They're like, you go transfer to another spot. I'm like, where?
Go transfer to another spot? But why, though, if you were doing so well there?
Because my points went down. So when your points and stuff go down, you low security level.
Okay.
I had like 16 points, but it'd be a fight. They got a manual verbal on you. That mean to hold you there. 16 points, you really can leave, but sometimes they be like, nah, you can't leave. And they be like, we're just going to try it out. So they tried it out. They put it through Grand Prairie. It ended up going through. And they like, where you want to go at? I'm like, man, I'm trying to go to Petersburg or Wackenhut. You know what I'm saying? And they end up sending me down. I end up going down Wackenhut. That's in North Carolina. Okay. That's kind of like a ice/homie jump. They sent me down there, and when I went down there, it was like, dang. That's why.
So was it a culture shock for you down there? Because North Carolina, it's a different place.
It wasn't a culture shock because I got down there. Like I said, when I got to that spot, I seen homies that I knew.
And once again.
Yeah, and when I got down there, I'm like, damn, this the spot right here. Yeah. That's where I got my first phone at.
Okay, so got your first phone there. What about like when you started cooking? When you started cooking, when did that start? What prison did that start in?
That started at Wackenhut. When I got my first phone, my son was like, man, you should start, man, recording all your stuff and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you know what? I was thinking about that anyway. So, once I set up my Instagram and I started seeing stuff on Instagram and everybody telling me, they're like, man, this the new social media and you can do this and do that. I said, you know what? I got something.
Okay.
I got something. So I started to make my little nachos and stuff. Cook down there and I was recording it slowly but surely. And we was on COVID lockdown. So it was like I had nothing to do but
just come up with different stuff.
Just come up with different stuff. A little fake motivation, not fake, but motivational speaking in the mornings. I get up and I might post something in the morning or speak to the people in the morning and I cook. So
what was your favorite thing to cook? And did you share this with like other people?
Yeah, I had two meals. I had my favorite meal is a nacho because a nacho is kind of like it's very tasty for one, and it's convenient. You can make it, whip it fast, cheese, sauce, season the meat, chips, onion, peppers. It's done. You know what I'm saying? And salmon patties, fried rice, and macaroni and cheese. Okay. That was my favorite two meals right there. Those were my go-tos.
Those are your go-tos. And then everyone who ate with you liked it.
Everybody who ate with me, I used to get tired of cooking for real, because I'm cooking for 10, 11, 12 people in a small cell.
Yeah.
And I used to tell everybody, if y'all ain't got everything back, because I like to prioritize and do my stuff early. Hey, listen, tonight, I get everything in the net bag from everybody at night. Hey, turkey, log, cheese, everybody put everything in the bag, because I'm prepping in the morning.
Yeah.
By 12 o'clock, if y'all ain't, listen, because I like to have your food already on your jump. See, nacho, I already season the meat and all that. And when I'm ready to put it together, when everybody ready to eat, then I put it together because I don't like soggy chips.
So how did you make it, like in the microwave or?
Yeah, either or, microwave or the microwave. When I was at the spots with the microwave, I probably cook the meat, fry the turkey log and stuff like that. But when I was there, they had hot water, so I twerked the 180. You know what I'm saying? Put everything in a bag, double bag it, dip it in the trash can.
And made it like that.
That's how you heat everything up. The cheese sauce, the meat, the turkey log. Or we had stingers. We make stingers out of irons, and you could drop oil in there, cook it, boil the water, do it like that.
So, like, how much did your videos go up? Because I know that you posted some of them. So, like, what's the story about that?
My videos was going crazy. I wasn't really posting. I was posting, but my page was private because I didn't want
to get in trouble.
So for a second, for a long time, I was under the radar. Until I got to Petersburg. Whack and Hut had closed down. They shipped all of us to Petersburg. So when I got to Petersburg, it was still doing COVID. When I got to Petersburg. Me and my celly, we was in a 4-man, and he already had a phone in this last spot. I had a phone too, and we like phone addictive. So I'm like, man, I'm about to get me a phone. He like, you is? I'm like, yeah, we ain't even get our property yet. We end up getting 2 phones. He got one, I got one, and we up in there jamming. You know what I'm saying? So we got our property. It was like, all right, cool, we here now.
Right.
Once we end up getting out the 4-man, I started recording. People was reaching out to me, and I had this dude to reach out to me. He seemed like a good dude. Talking about he had 5 kids and he had my videos and all that. But I'm like, you got my videos. But my cooking video ended up going viral.
Yes.
1 million views and stuff like that. And people calling my phone, you on YouTube? And I'm like, what? I'm like, nah,
I ain't
on YouTube. I don't know what you talking
public.
about. Now it's public. I'm like, what you mean I'm on YouTube? I'm trying to send you the link. And my man sent me the link. And I'm like, dang, I ain't put that up there.
At all, yeah.
But I didn't think of nothing. Now I'm like, all right, it's cool. I'm on, all right. Let the world see now.
So did the other person get paid for what you did?
The other person stopped being in contact with me.
Okay.
And I he started to get compensated. I know he did, because we know how the social media stuff go with the YouTube and all that. So he started to get compensated. He changed his number and all that. I never heard from him again.
How did that make you feel? You were just like, it is what it is.
When that happened, you know what I told myself? I said, that's a video he has. I have these skill sets. You can't take my skill sets away from me. So I'm going to make more videos. You can have that.
Yeah.
I'm going to make more videos. And when I do my videos, it's going to go bigger than what they just did. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't mad no more.
Okay, so after that, when did the fitness come in for you? When did you want to start personal training and in the midst of like getting your certificates for like personal training and stuff like that? When did you fall in love with fitness? Like, how many people did you even help where you were with fitness?
I've been working out, but it got deeper and deeper as I got into my bed. I'm like, damn, I'm ready here for some years, not months, not days. I'm like, I'm here for years.
It hit you hard.
Right. So, like I said, I took them classes and stuff already, and I'm reading them books, and a lot of them books and the successful people was just talking about balance in their life. And balance was God, working out and eating healthy and stimulating the mind, body, and soul. So I had locked myself in with that. And once I locked myself in with that, I started going harder, reading about fitness, reading about the anatomy, had my diet plans up, what to eat, what not to eat, what's going to give me energy, what's going to take away from energy. And around that time I was young. I was eating whole cheesecakes, nachos, but certain stuff started to happen. I'm like, oh, that cheesecake did that to me? I ain't eating it no more.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like that. I used to eat a whole cheesecake to the point that my finger used to swell up, but it felt like it was jam, but the whole time it was like a sugar rush. But I didn't know I was young. I'm like, man, I'm gonna get up and do 1,000 burpees in the morning.
It's gonna be okay.
It's gonna be all right. So that's how I ended up getting into fitness though. And
did you y'all do burpee class and stuff out here?
Right.
So now that you're out, did you do any type of burpee class or your friends? I don't know if they were your friends, but just people that you were incarcerated with that you were cool with at least, and you probably gather them. Did you gather them up to do burpees, to do fitness, and how did you see how that impacted them? Like, okay, I know they're doing a bid, I'm doing a bid. This is kind of distracting us and keeping us healthy at the same time. Like, did you bring people into it, or are you a type of person who was incarcerated, who just did that for yourself so you could keep your mind off of it?
I had people that wanted to work out with me every day. I worked out at least 4 or 5 times a day. As soon as the doors pop, most of the time, it depends what was for breakfast for child. I wasn't even going. I'm working out. I work out from 6:30 to 7:30, and I'll be waiting for the next people because some people wake up late. And they be like, you already went? I'm like, yeah, I'm waiting for you. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? I work damn near all the way to recall. Recall at 10 o'clock, 10:30. You know what I'm saying? And those people right now, man, are in blast. They still got the workout routines I gave them. And they seen with it. They like, man, I see Slim Ray trying to turn his life around. Right. They felt it. They didn't even want to know about the past because they was like, I see it in you, but I don't really want to know about your past. And I wasn't going to tell them neither. This is what I want you to know me in. I don't want you to know me for this. I want you to know me for that. Right. Me creating the new me. And like I said, I made a powerful impact on a lot of people. To this day, they call me. Dang, man, I seen you on the news. Dang, good. Man, y'all doing good, man. I'm loving this, man. Everything you said you was going to do, bro, you doing it. Them books you was reading, manifestation and all that stuff, and keep praying every day. Like, they are actually calling me and say, dang, bro. And some of them like, damn, I doubted something. But I don't even look at it as doubt. You just couldn't see yourself doing it. Right. That's all it was. And I had to realize that some people, it don't be doubt. They want to do it, but they don't see themselves doing it, Right. And I motivated them, to this day. Then now they like, man, I'm coming home and I'm trying to work out, bro. Out there with y'all. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
So where did you get the confidence to actually do your certification? Before you even got out here?
I had a good friend of mine. His name was Adam, and he was from like Las Vegas or something like that. He was chopped up, white boy. He was chopped up, and he was giving them out. He was doing them. So I ended up getting with him, working out with him. He was showing me different stuff, and we was having HIIT classes and circuit training on the compound. So immediately I was a part of that. Right. I was a part of that. Took my little tests and stuff, and I ended up being a certified personal trainer.
Okay, so fast forward to being out here. When were you released?
I was released May 5th, 2024.
How did you feel stepping on, putting your feet on ground, on land and saying, I'm out?
It was a blessing because, like I said, I just got on the phone with a cousin of mine, and he said, man, I'm writing a book, but the first chapter is about you. And he said, man, 2018, man, you had your bags packed at the door. And you kept saying, man, I ain't staying here. Right. I ain't staying here. And I had people like, man, your date is 2025. Enough for the bull stuff. And I used to be looking at them like, that's what they say in the computer. God ain't telling me that. And it was little things I felt that I didn't understand, but I knew it was a good feeling. Yes. You know what I'm saying? But as I got older and I started reading more and started polishing areas in my life, I started to understand what it was. I said, man, dang, this piece right here. I'm learning more about myself. I'm being aware and conscious of my surroundings. I'm closer to God, and my life is balanced. I still was going through a little stuff, but it was within myself. Somebody might say something slick. I might gotta check them, or sometimes somebody makes something slick, and I'm like, all right, go ahead, man. I ain't for that.
That's growth.
Yeah, you ain't supposed to be around me anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of times that's where I used to get in trouble at, because some people that was, creeping themselves around, being as though they was homies or out of town. I'm the type of person, all right, until you show me otherwise. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a judgmental person. So, I had my bags packed. I had my bags packed for a long time. I used to do that all the time. Pack my bag, unpack my bag, throw a rack of stuff away, get my clothes away, go back to the store, buy all new outfits again, get my food away, go back, get it away. And I was doing that for years. Doing that for years.
And, give or take, what, 2 to 3, 3 to 4?
Man, I was doing that from 2018 all the way into 2024. Okay. I was doing that from Wackenhut until I got to Petersburg. When they closed Wackenhut down and got to Petersburg, I still did the same thing. And I even used to walk up R&D. They're like, why you keep walking up R&D, bro? You about to go home 2025. And I'm like, I'm going up R&D to speak into the hallway. I want my voice to go up under the door on the other side of the gate.
You were manifesting.
Yeah, that's what I want. And I used to do it all the time, man. People used to see that I was dead serious, and they used to walk with me. Man, I'm going with you today. I'm like, come on. That's good. And they're speaking it too. Hey, we on our way. And I used to do that. And I walk back, go pray, and I used to look in the you, and I'm like, man, I ain't staying in this junk, man. I gotta go.
Definitely.
I gotta go. So, once I used to get back to the union and stuff, I used to like, man, I'm packing my stuff again.
So when you put your feet on land on that day, you were like, nothing I did was in vain.
Nah, because like I said before, I had got denied, my compassionate release or whatever, right? And when I got denied my compassionate release, the lawyers was upset. They was crying and stuff because I did the work for my case. And I always thought it was meant for me to have a phone because I did all the research on my phone. Nobody never knew I had a phone. A couple of dudes, but nobody knew I had a phone. And that phone, I was making videos, I was calling my family, I was getting a lot of things done. You know what I'm saying? Right. I was doing research on my health and my case, and my lawyer said, man, you did 90% of the work. We just spoke for you. My motion was 500 pages. But what they did was compared it and made it a little smaller. They were like, man, well, you got some good research. Where you get this research from? No, I got somebody to send it in to me, but the whole time I had a phone. And I'm like, man, what's this? I need to look for this lawyer, because I said, man, I'm sick. I got to get up out of here. And when I got denied the first time, what I told my lawyers?
What did you tell them?
I got denied while I was in the hole for a phone. I went to the hole for a phone. And they told me on speakerphone, they were like, well, man, it's okay. I'm like, yeah, it is okay, because guess what? It ain't time for me to go yet. I still have some areas that I need to polish in my life. Right. And I knew that, though, because I still was fighting with myself. You understand what I'm saying? So the lawyer said, man, well, you got 2.5 years left, big boom. I said, man, listen, I got the right to file for appeal. He said, you do. I said, well, put it in. I need to get
out of here.
I said, put it in. I said, I'm not ready yet, but I'm going to win my appeal. So to fast forward, I end up, the 3-judge panel end up writing my judge and told her that you better look back at that man's case. And the judge, she denied me because she said I still was a menace to society. But the FBOP in black and white said he's a model inmate. The man took all his classes. He ain't had no more disciplinaries. He had the phone, but cool, we gonna knock that out. He did his 41 day. We took 41 good days in commissary and phone for that. Cool. But I was a model inmate. Now I was an advocate now. I'm going to classes, teaching people, giving people books and stuff like that. So the 3-judge panel like, man, let him go, man. Right. And when she had to go look back at it again, because compassionate release is for extraordinary and compelling reasons. Somebody that's sick and rehabilitated. I rehabilitated myself and I was sick.
So when did you find out you were sick? Well, let's backtrack a little bit. When did you find out you were sick? Because you were released on compassion release. So when did you find out you were sick? What was your body doing that lets you know that, okay, something's wrong with me. I need help?
Oh man, like I said, I seen a circle growing on my face one day. I didn't think nothing of it, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. I started to itch and scratch and doing some normal stuff like eczema and psoriasis was, and that's what they kept trying to say it was. I frequently go get checked out, and they were like, that's eczema, here's a cream. Oh, it's psoriasis now, that's a cream. And I'm like, all right, and I'm going with the flow. And then one day, like, it was just spreading more and more and more and more, and I'm like, nah, man, this ain't that, man. This got to be something else. I went back to the doctor. They said, yes, it is. Yes, it is. So one day I wasn't feeling right. My chest was hurting. This how it all started. For my chest started hurting. I had a mild heart attack.
Oh wow.
They had to rush me to the emergency room. They was about to send a helicopter, but the helicopter was taking forever, and I ended up going to the hospital. And they had me there for a minute. They hooked me up to the EKG. They said, man, I had a little mild heart attack, and that was that.
Was that 20 minutes?
24.
You want me to keep going? Can I keep going? Do you have?
We getting close though. Fast go. You can fast forward because we already talking about compassion release. So we go back to.
All right. As long look, you gonna have to cut this out. I'm just making sure.
Of course.
Okay. All right.
Go from the hospital, and I'm gonna just go ahead. You gonna cut this out right here? Yeah. All right. From the hospital.
And then.
I'm going to the hospital.
We can fast forward back to out here.
All right.
Okay. So concerning the hospital, you went to the hospital. Like, was your family able to
They
be
weren't
with
even
you?
trying to contact my family. I told the lady called my mother. She was like, man, I want to, but you gonna get in trouble. I might get in trouble and
Why would she get in trouble for calling your mom about what's happening to you?
I don't know. That's what it was though. That's what it was. My mother didn't know nothing until I came back and called her myself and told her I was in the hospital. And that's when everything went bad. I a lot of inflammation on the skin, lumps and stuff up under my neck, which was lymph nodes. Lymph nodes is the filtered infection in your body. We all have them. They just flare up when you got infection in your body.
They definitely do.
My legs, pedal epidema. My legs were swelling. I had a fluid coming out of my navel. I used to have this thing called runny eye when I have a kind of like right now, but it'd be hard and you can hear it. And every time my eyes run and drain, it'd get hard. And it was it was more so mental though. It used to tell me go lay down. I'm like, man, I ain't laying down. And it was a lot of mental things going on. I had to stay strong. And I used to have people I used to sit beside with my Crocs on because I never wanted to wear Crocs, but I had to because my feet would swell up and cracking and all that, and I couldn't wear my shoes.
Right.
And a lot of people like, man, you strong, man.
Very strong.
You know, and I used to, like, you know, I'm going to work out. Man, you better not work out. I go upstairs, do one leg burpees, fast walk the tier, upstairs, downstairs, and I used to do little squats and just lift little stuff because that's what I felt like I needed to do.
And it got you through.
And it got me through, and man, next thing I know, I woke up, man, I was in front of that door, and they was calling my name.
Just calling your name. I know that made you
and everybody
super
looked at me like I was crazy. They said, no, you ain't gone, bro.
But you was gone.
I was gone.
You was gone. So let's fast forward back to out here. So when you got out here, you already had the fitness underneath your belt.
Yep.
When did your businesses start? When did you get the idea to even do that, to even be a business owner?
That was already in my mind that I needed to be an entrepreneur. Like I said, I was reading all type of entrepreneur books. When I got out here, I started, I bought me about 50 sweatsuits and stuff like that. My car ended up got stolen. The kids got in my car and they took everything I owned. So that kind of like put me down in a depression state, and I, you know, started to do some things that I wasn't supposed to be doing, and you know, and I had to tell myself, man, you just came home, man. You better get it together. You better get it together. If you
stay humble.
And stay humble. Get it together. That was a test. You're going to be tested many more times. Get it together. I started working some little jobs, and they were stepping stones, but that wasn't going right. But I needed to work those jobs for the probation officers so they could be off my ass and stuff like that. And I started, you know, I started posting more videos now that I'm home. Video after video after video. People start reaching out to me, you know, that been watching me. And, you know, they leading to their friends and stuff. And after that, man, I started getting clients.
Okay.
It was crazy. I was
so
getting
personal training, and also you have another business as well.
Yeah, junk locators.
Okay. Explain more about that. How did that come about?
My friend, man, he started it, but you know, he brought me in. He said, man, this house when you come home, and he like, man, I got something for us when you come home. And when I came home, he said, I asked him what it was, and he showed me. Got the truck. I'm like, what's this? He's like, man, we about to be hauling junk. I'm like, junk? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I was just doing trash. I ain't about to be doing no more. He like, it's totally different. And it was though, and it was our business.
What's different about it?
The junk locator, the trash business?
Yes.
The trash bin I was working for my aunt, she wasn't giving us all our money. You know what I'm saying? The junk located, when you owning your own stuff, you on your time. You know what I'm saying? And we was on our time. We was putting together ideas and, you know, structure stuff, and we was putting together, and it was like, it was the age we was to be able to come from where we came from and be able to do something like that. It was a blessing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was a blessing, and he said what he said, and it happened.
Okay. So let's even fast forward a little bit more. So recently on social media, like, we saw that you went through a crisis within your personal life. And with that being said, it was due to your cancer.
Right.
It was due to your illness. And so going to the hospital that you went to and how they treated you, like, what all happened?
That day, I was leaving work. I was working for a cybersecurity company. They're making data centers everywhere. I was working for a cybersecurity company. A good friend of mine watched me work, as y'all know, Tay, Keontae Jackson, my brother, I love him to death. He told me work out. I ain't even want to go work out with him that day. But I said, you know what? I ain't worked out in like a week. Let me go ahead and work out.
You pushed through.
I pushed through. I said, let me go ahead because I need it. You know what I'm saying? So went to go work out. When I went to go work out with him, we did like 3 different sets. It was a great workout, and I started to feel funny, and I'm like, man, I stepped off. I started to itch and stuff, you know, but I thought it was a normal itch like I usually do. But it was an internal control. Right. And I I told him that day, I kind of like wanted to open myself up. This is bad.
And scratch.
Yeah, I wanted to like open my body up and scratch. That's how bad it was, and scratch the inside of my body, but I couldn't do it. And when I think I went over on one of the seats or something, and I was scratching my back, and I'm like, oh, he like, what you doing, man? I'm like, scratching my back. He like, come on, man. They started working back out, because he know I'm just itching and bit by boom, man. So I got up, I went to go look in the mirror, everything was bling, blow, bloom, and I was like, oh, and I seen my hands, because I never knew I looked at my hands and I started looking at stuff and I'm like, oh.
And your skin started to turn.
It's turned. And I had to call, hey, we need to go to the hospital now. And he looked and he hauled ass over there. You know what I'm saying? Right then and there. I walked around to the truck, but I started feeling my chest tighten up. And I couldn't breathe. So he was telling me to breathe. He rushed me to the hospital. I got up in there.
So did something bite you? Like, do you know to this day what happened?
Nothing bit me. I thought something bit me, and then I thought, did I eat something? And I'm like, nah, nothing bit me. I was having an allergic reaction. I was having a war within myself. My immune system was fighting itself.
Okay.
Because I didn't had this disease in my body for so long. It hasn't been treated. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I was fighting with it as well. You know, I'm fighting that disease.
And you're not doing chemo or anything for your cancer?
Nope,
you're
I'm not doing
trying to be natural?
I'm not doing chemo and nothing. They want me to go to this thing called a UV. I have to walk in this machine. And these lights supposed to reduce this and all that. We still trying to get it done now, but they saying that the machine broke down and nobody else do it.
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm taking it upon myself to the people. Y'all sending me GoFundMe. I appreciate it. Don't stop sending it because the money that y'all sending me,
it's helping.
It's helping me because I go to the herbalist and she's blessing me. Every time I go to her, she's blessing me with everything I need.
Definitely.
And I appreciate y'all for that.
So with that being said, like, what happened at the hospital? Let's talk about what happened at the hospital once you got there and the whole situation of you being released and what they even did to you.
I went to the hospital, which was a great hospital when I got there because they was moving so fast. When I got to the hospital, they had to run some blood. They ran some blood. They said my red blood cell levels were at a 12. I guess that's supposed to be the highest, indicating that I got an infection inside my blood. That kind of had me like, damn, man, my stuff must be progressing. And, had me kind of scared and fearful. Like, I'm like, dang, I'm about to die in this jump. That's just how it was. That was my thought pattern. Right. But I still had to have my mental, up to par. Like, man, you're going to be all right. You've been fighting this long. Keep fighting. So they hooked me up with two. They hooked me up with 2 IVs. I had 2 IVs hooked up to me. I was down for a little minute. I was in there for about 3 days. The first day I was down bad. The second day I was down bad, but I felt like I was turning over to the point I wasn't as weak as I was when I went to the hospital. I guess the IV, had to flush me out a little bit, and I never been hooked up to an IV even when I was locked up. I wasn't hooked up to an IV, and they ended up coming back, asking about my Medicaid and co-pays and all that. They told me the third day, they was like, we're gonna have to release you because your Medicaid ain't gonna be able to cover nothing else. So I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And that's what made me like really thinking to GoFundMe for real. I'm like, Medicaid, so y'all can't help me do nothing?
At all.
And they had them release discharge papers so fast. When they had the papers,
so cold.
They had the papers so fast.
So that day, you left immediately?
That day I left, went in the house, got me some rest. I was feeling tired. I was feeling tired for a good week. I was weak, real tired. And I didn't feel right. And in my mental, I'm like, dang, they let me go. They gonna leave me for dead, man. But I had to take it upon myself. I said, you know what? I got good people around me. I got family. I'm gonna make sure I'm all right. And I know the people that love me the best gonna make sure I'm all right.
So it's the GoFundMe. Please keep donating to that.
Yeah, please do.
But with that being said, like, let's talk about the men. We done talked about major life. Yeah. And so, like, let's talk about the men. Like, how has Mr. Watching Work, Mr. Don't Say Nothing, T.O. Somebody, Bang Fitness, Damo, how have all of them, and even some other people that you've met that I'm probably missing, my bad, that I'm probably missing, but with that being said, how have they impacted you? How do you feel about y'all movement right now? How do you feel about the fitness and the impact and the people you're meeting, and how do you feel? Like,
I love my brothers, man, and we connected so fast. And I really, like I said, man, I really appreciate them, man. Watch Me Work, Damo, Mr. Don't Say Nothing, T.O., Bang. And you know what's crazy? We was all connected already some way, somehow.
Some way, somehow.
And when I used to be incarcerated, I always used to say 2 things. I said, man, I'm in love with the woman of my life and I haven't even met her yet. And I used to say, I can't wait to meet other people that are like me. I used to say that all the time. I used to throw it out there.
That's an amazing thing to say.
I used to throw it out there. And it ended up happening. I met them guys, man, and it just been love ever since. And I feel like, man, we supposed to be around each other. It wasn't forced.
At all.
It wasn't forced, but the forces bring us together. You understand what I'm saying?
God is good.
And they made a major big impact, man. My old Instagram got hacked. And when my old Instagram got hacked, I went down. I started smoking weed and all that. I was like, dang, that's my life. I got my whole life story on there for real, for real. You understand what I'm saying? I was like, I needed that. And you know, they the ones that, man, keep posting. I'm like, hey, what, post what? I ain't got no followers. I got 100 followers.
Just keep going.
I literally, I had 100 followers. I had 2 pages, my old page, and then the page I got now was my backup page. And I ended up trying to buy some AI Ray-Bans one day off of Instagram. I didn't know what I was doing. And it ended up doing something, and I couldn't log back in that page, but I was on this page. But now leading up, everything was supposed to happen. That was supposed to happen. I was supposed to rebuild.
Right.
You know? I was supposed to tell a whole different story, man.
Definitely.
And it happened, man. Them dudes called me and they said, make a video today, bro. What are you doing? I be in the joint, but bed high. They like, make a video, bro. And I ended up making videos of that. We gonna collab you. And they collabed me, and you know.
And it started getting better.
And it started getting better.
So with that being said, that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Thank you for coming to see me, Major, at
Wakanda,
the Raw Perspective.
forever.
Also, shout out to the Spice Suite. This is
Shout
where we're filming at.
Angel, what's up, sis?
Thank you, Angel, for everything. And
Thanks for letting us come.
My makeup artist, Janice. She did my face, y'all. I'm gonna drop everything in the bio and all the stuff. Also, tell them where they can follow you at.
Shout out to Be Royal for one. They got some great quality stuff. Y'all can follow me at Major Life Fitness _ the Rebuild. Remember, Major Life Fitness _ the Rebuild. And pre-order, man. I got the sweatsuits coming out real soon. Y'all make sure y'all pre-order.
It's getting cold outside.
Now. Pre-order now. I got all flavors. I ain't playing with you.
He ain't playing.
Love y'all.
Bye, y'all. Love you.